I took my wife's car for an oil change. The mechanic, a guy I trusted, pulled me into. The smell of burnt oil always reminded me of her perfume. Sharp, sweet, lingering longer than it should. I was standing in the dim light of the mechanic's garage, watching the man I'd known for years, Danny, wipe his hands on a rag that used to be white. The sound of metal dripping echoed faintly beneath the car's belly. He didn't look at me right away. That was the first thing that made me uneasy. Normally, Danny talked about cars, football, beer. But today, silence hung heavy. Then he said it, almost under his breath. "Hey, Mark, you got a minute? We need to talk. Privately." Something in his tone wasn't mechanical. It was human, hesitant. He led me to the back, behind the stacks of old tires and metal parts. His hands trembled slightly, like someone about to confess to something he didn't want to say. He looked at me, really looked at me, and sighed. "I found something in your wife's car, in the glove box." The air went cold. I didn't say anything, I just nodded once. He handed me a folded napkin. A hotel logo in red ink stared up at me. Inside it, 2 glossy photos. My wife, in a room I didn't recognize. Smiling. Not at the camera, at whoever was taking the picture. Danny's voice broke the silence. "I'm sorry, man. I thought you should know." The sound of the hydraulic lift hummed somewhere in the distance. And inside me, something else began to rise. Not rage, not yet. Just calculation. That night, I didn't confront her. I made dinner. She talked, laughed, scrolled through her phone, pretending not to notice my silence. The glow from the screen flickered across her face like firelight. Beautiful, familiar, false. 8 years of marriage, 2 mortgages, 1 shared car, and apparently, a man behind the camera. I replayed Danny's words in my head. His guilt, his hesitation. He wasn't lying. He couldn't be. Danny fixed engines, not lives. He wasn't built for deceit. So I smiled when she smiled. I asked how her day was. She said, "Fine, just busy." "You?" "Busy, always busy." I looked at her hands, perfectly manicured. No oil, no dust, no evidence of a life that worked for anything real. When she leaned over to kiss me, I noticed the faintest scent of that same perfume. Sharp, floral, persistent. It hit me like gasoline catching a spark. I didn't react. I let her kiss linger. Then I pulled away, softly. "Everything's fine," I told her. And it was, on the surface. But underneath, my mind was already dismantling the truth the way Danny dismantled engines, piece by piece, carefully, until nothing hid the damage anymore. The next morning, I drove her car again. She said she'd take mine to work. I agreed. It was strange how easy it was to be calm when everything inside you was burning. At the red light, I opened the glove compartment. Empty, clean, too clean. Like someone had erased their fingerprints from their own life. But people never erase everything. In the side pocket, under an old insurance slip, I found a small card. Room 312, Westmont Suites. The same logo that had been on the napkin Danny gave me. I folded it carefully, placed it in my wallet. Evidence was power. That evening I called Danny, told him thank you. He didn't ask what I'd do. I think he already knew. Over the next week, I played the husband. Quiet, attentive, predictable. She didn't suspect a thing. But I watched her. The subtle pauses before answering texts. The longer showers. The sudden gym memberships that didn't reflect in her body. Every detail became a weapon in my mind, filed away for precision use. Then, Thursday night, I followed her. She said she had a girls' dinner. I watched her car pull into the parking lot of the Westmont Suites. Room 312 faced the side alley. The curtains were closed. I waited. For an hour, then 2. When she came out, her hair was slightly undone. Her lips smudged. She was smiling, light, effortless, young. I didn't follow her home. I didn't need to, because now I wasn't looking for proof anymore. I was building an ending. Friday morning, I took the day off. Told her I had an early meeting. She believed me, of course. Trust works both ways, until it doesn't. I drove to Westmont Suites, room 312. The clerk didn't ask questions when I flashed a photo of my wife. I told him it was a surprise anniversary setup. He smiled, handed me a key card. The room smelled like cheap air freshener and lies. On the nightstand, 2 glasses. One lipstick stained, one not. I opened the drawer. Inside, a small silver bracelet. The one I'd given her for our 5th anniversary. Engraved inside, forever. The irony stung, but I didn't flinch. I took photos. Every angle, every mark, every trace of her double life. Then I placed the bracelet back, perfectly aligned, like evidence waiting for its owner to return to the scene of the crime. That night I said nothing. She came home late, said traffic was bad. I nodded. Then, quietly, I asked, "You ever been to Westmont Suites?" Her fork froze halfway to her mouth. A pause. Too long. Then, "What? No, why?" I looked at her for a long time, then simply said, "Just wondering." She didn't eat much after that. I didn't confront her the next day, or the one after. Instead, I sent her flowers, 12 red roses, with a note that said, "Meet me at Westmont Suites, room 312, tonight, 8 p.m. Let's start over." I watched her read it. Her eyes softened. Relief. Guilt masked as affection. At 7:45, she left the house, carefully dressed. Perfume thick enough to suffocate a room. I didn't follow her, but Danny did. He'd been waiting there since 7:30 with a camera, just like the one she used to hide behind. At 8:05, she entered room 312. At 8:10, the man she'd been meeting, her coworker, arrived. At 8:30, Danny sent me the photos. By 9 o'clock, every one of her friends, her boss, and her parents received an anonymous email with the subject line, "The Truth About Claire." By 10 o'clock, she called me, crying. By 10:05, I turned my phone off. I didn't stay to see her unravel. I didn't need to. Revenge isn't about witnessing the fire. It's about knowing you lit the match and walking away before the smoke reaches you. The next morning, I took her car to Danny's again, had the oil changed, cleaned the glove box. When he asked how I was, I just said, "Running smoother than before." He smiled, like he understood. On the drive home, the air smelled faintly of burnt oil again, sharp, sweet, lingering longer than it should. I parked in the driveway, looked at the empty space beside me where her car used to sit. The silence felt right. Because in the end, betrayal isn't what breaks you. It's what rebuilds you, one careful, calculated part at a time. She thought she was driving away from me that night, but she never realized I'd already taken the keys to her entire life.